Kaiba, didn't you know that during Pride Month, all canonically queer Yu-Gi-Oh cards gain a power boost?
You've activated my trap card! What? But that doesn't do anything! Aha! But it's June, Kaiba!
Have you ever been put into a robot?
Yes, I play Warframe.
Can't say I have.
Would you like to?
Not particularly.
Well, too bad.
Get in the robot. Get in the Ava, Alina.
Get in the...
The what?
Get in the robot, Shinji.
The who?
This episode's about Soma. I'm not doing another opening.
Welcome to the podcast.
You're sure it's not about Evangelion?
Yes, I'm sure it's not about Evangelion.
I'm Alina.
I'm Cole.
I'm Peter.
You said you weren't doing another intro, so you
Yeah,
either
you're
do
right.
the intro
or
we're doing another one if you're gonna
No-
just start rambling.
No retakes this time.
Okay.
Fuck everyone. We're balling.
All right. Welcome everybody. Hope all of you are having a good day or night or whatever is
Whenever.
your existence. Today we
Whenever
are talking...
you choose to watch this, make sure it's a good time for
Yes.
you personally,
or else.
or else.
Oh.
Be consequences.
All right. So Cole, what did I binge a 14 episode playlist for today?
You binged a 14-hour, 8-year-old Markiplier playlist.
It's actually 7 hours. They were 30 minutes long, but
Fucking... It is. I mean, it's not a very long game. That's true.
no.
Of a game called SOMA, typically stylized in all capitals. SOMA is a horror game made by the same people who made Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and not Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs. Those are two different games.
I see.
I think also the same studio, at least, that made Amnesia: The Bunker, but not the same. Like, I know the same teams in that studio worked on Amnesia: The Dark Descent and SOMA. I don't know how many of them then went on to work on Amnesia: The Bunker. The point is, it's a spooky scary. It's a very scary. Amnesia is rated as one of the most scary horror games to exist. At least at the time, you know, in the pre FNAF world that I wish I lived in still. Or at least in the timeline where FNAF doesn't exist, but somehow the FNAF movie still does. I liked the movie.
As critically bad as it was entertaining.
Oh yeah, critically the movie is like for like a, if I'm talking like critics' perspective, I think it's like a 4 out of 10 from me at least, but like maybe a 3.5. But
Yeah,
God, I had a great time watching it.
Does not go higher than 5.
If I were to critique it how I critique any other horror movie, I would give it a 0 because it didn't scare me at all.
That's fair.
Like it was even fun at times. Like it wasn't scary at all. But anyway,
yeah,
Soma is scary.
Soma is scary. And Amnesia, the game that they worked on prior, was a game that made a lot of YouTubers of the time quite a lot of popularity because they scream. And so of course when Soma came out, a lot of them played it then too. As I also back in that day, 8 years ago, watched Markiplier play it, and it burned itself into my memory, and I couldn't stop thinking about it every now and again for the next rest of my life.
I did not realize how long it had been since he played it. Because I literally watched all of it today. like at work. Like I had, because at my work they have a set like computer, and I have two monitors, and under the first monitor was my phone propped up on the stand, and I had my little earphones plugged into it, and I just had that under my work the entire day. Because I was like, oh, we're doing a podcast today, like what's the topic? And I saw SOMA, and I'm like, fuck, I was meant to watch all that. So watch it I did. But like I was looking at, like, first of all, he had like, if Markiplier had the fucking pink hair, which was like, oh, that's old. But then I actually looked on the date on it, because at some point I was like, okay, how old is this actually? It was 8 years ago. He posted that 8 years ago. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a pretty old game at this point, but I think it's still scary.
Yes.
To an extent, at least.
If not the monsters, the philosophical concepts.
Yeah,
are sure to scare the shit out of you.
The way that I looked back at some things from the 8 years ago,
18 years
and there were a lot of people 10 years ago.
8 years ago.
I saw a lot of people say things along the lines of like, it's not as like scary as Amnesia is, but it is more haunting.
Well, yeah, Amnesia isn't asking like strange philosophical questions of, if you make a copy of yourself, is that you?
Yeah. Well, so we're gonna get into. I'm gonna do I was gonna say short. Let's not kid myself. A very long description of SOMA.
Don't make it too long.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best.
There's a lot of philosophy stuff that I really want to talk about. So
I know. No, you can interrupt me at any point when we get to like relevant segments to talk about the philosophy stuff.
Okay. Well, the teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
And Peter, feel free to.
What I do best to make funny. That's all you guys have me for. I swear to God.
Oh.
When there are topics that are yours that we'll get to.
We did one like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, but I was funny then too.
It's not my fault you're consistently funny, man.
So SOMA begins with you, the player, witnessing a cutscene. It's a really weird cutscene, because there's no motion. It's rendered in a very like painterly style. You are seeing in the first-person perspective of one Simon Jarrett, who, whenever I read his name, I mistakenly read Simon Garrett, as if he has 2 first names, which would be funny. Like a first name for your last name. I think it's kind of funny when people end up with like a sort of a last name that's kind of a first name.
John Smith.
Yeah, like no, Smith is I think firmly a last name. I've never known anyone with first name Smith. That's just, I think first name Smith would actually be funnier.
Smith.
I Smith other Smiths in my forge.
Welcome to Double Smiths Anonymous.
Well, okay, now someone's gonna have the name Forge Smith.
Yeah, Forge Smith over there. Smith's Forges, but like not the Forge. The Forge is special. It's where every Smith is born.
But not Smith.
But not yes, but not Smith. Smith is the progenitor Smith. Much like how Simon Jarrett is the progenitor of something. Because you are witnessing this cutscene, rendered in a very painterly style, first-person perspective. You are Simon Jarrett. Simon Jarrett is driving a car. He's talking with a woman in the passenger seat, whose name I forget. Whoops.
Don't worry. I just watched it. And I'm terrible with names. I don't remember either.
You know your name? Because I think your name is mentioned 3 times over the whole game.
Yeah, there are so many characters that I have no idea what anyone's called.
There are so many
No idea.
A girl who he is currently friends with, and it is implied they mutually have feelings for each other and want to start dating. We only know for sure that Simon has feelings for her and wants to ask her out. Because this car crash that we're witnessing, it's a dream. It's a dream. He's dreaming or nightmaring, I guess. Actually.
Oh my god! You spoil it.
It's the first like fucking 20 seconds.
I can't believe you do this, Cole. I can't believe you.
And the car. So this woman, she dies in the car crash, and that same car crash gives Simon a traumatic brain injury where his brain is just bleeding, just free bleeding in his head. The fun thing that I think is really interesting about this, the dream that he's having at the very beginning, is that it already is bringing in a few of the philosophical themes. Because Simon is dreaming about the car crash. And so it's him driving the car with the woman next to him. But also, he's driving and he's like, hey, so I've been meaning to ask you. And then in the dream his phone buzzes and she's like, oh, well, fucking Dr. Mushi, who's that? I think it wasn't Mushi, right? It was Mundy. What was it? I think it was Mundy. I don't recall.
Mundy Mushi. Mushi Mundy. It's made of mush.
It's like, oh, I'm going in for a brain scan tomorrow because my brain, and the scene shifts and it shows like the top half of Simon's head in the rearview mirror and his fucking skull is bleeding out from the center. My brain, from the accident, it won't stop bleeding. And she's like, accident? What accident? And he's like, the one that was, huh? And then the fucking car crash noise happens.
The one I'm about to subject you to. Here we go.
And you wake up, your phone is buzzing, you get a call from the doctor, and you're like, yeah, the brain scan today, yeah, I'll be in, I remember, I'll be there soon, I gotta take the metro. And he's like, remember to drink the fucking tracer fluid so that I can get a clear image of your brain. And it's like, oh great, I gotta go find the tracer fluid. Fun fact! The location of you wake up, you're in Simon's apartment. This is where the game introduces you to like it's one of its core mechanics that Amnesia also had, which is the ability to yoinky spoink things around.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of physics interactions you can do. When you can like open almost every individual drawer on things all the time, and just like mess around with the stuff that's in there. It's all very fun. So you are set to rummage around in Simon's apartment, attempting to find the tracer fluid that he's supposed to drink. It is in a different place at the start of every game. So you cannot just memorize where it will be. There are too many spawn locations. You can't just like read a list. I fucking struggled with finding this thing for half an hour. Just for me to reset the game so it would spawn somewhere else, and lo and behold, it was in just a cabinet that time. Thank God.
See, we have different levels of experience with this game. Cole's played it. I watched a playthrough of it.
I've not interacted with it whatsoever.
Brilliant.
I'm here to contribute, as I'm sure you're well aware.
Okay.
Oh yeah. There's a few things around Simon's apartment that really clarify his current fucked up mental state from, the traumatic brain injury. Where like it's clear that his memory is fucking up a lot. He gets a call from his boss/friend. He's like, "Hey, are you coming into work today?" And he's like, "What a scatterbrain! I sent him the email." And you walk over to his email, and you walk over to his computer, and the email is in fact not sent.
It's just sitting there.
He's like, "Oh, I guess I didn't. Whoops." You can actually choose to send the email then or not. It doesn't really affect things. It does change. Like, you do get like a phone call on the metro, but it doesn't like affect things further down in the game. It just affects that immediate opening thing.
It establishes that choices can be made, I think.
Yeah, it establishes that choices can be made. That is very true. And it also establishes that in the grand scheme of things, your choices don't super matter, but they do affect things on a small scale.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a variety of other things. Just the general state of the apartment he's in, and it's implied that he's usually, at least before the accident, was pretty clean, but his apartment's pretty messy right now. It's not the most messy ever, but it's like it's disorganized. He's got like random stuff in the fridge. He's not doing well, and the fact that the tracer fluid can be almost anywhere in the apartment, I think further illustrates the fact that he's real fucked up.
I like to imagine that one of those spawn points is just like on the ceiling.
I have no idea how you would even reach that.
And you're just like, where is it? Where is it? And then you look up and you're like, oh, you motherfucker!
I don't even know how I would get it. I don't even know how you would get it if it's in the ceiling.
Not in the ceiling, on the ceiling. You'd
What
use.
Do you mean? What is on the? What is that? On the ceiling?
Duct taped to the ceiling.
Oh, sorry. When you say on the ceiling, I'm imagining you set it on the ceiling like you set it on a counter.
No.
Well, yeah, like that, but upside down.
Yeah, but upside down and covered in duct tape so it doesn't fall out.
Or without duct tape, and you just, invert gravity in that area.
Yeah.
Like you
do. Better yet, super glue it. That ain't ever leaving.
You get the tracer fluid, you drink it, you take the metro to the clinic. Along the way, you get a phone call from your boss, either clarifying, like, yeah, dude, I got your email. I hope your thing goes good and that your brain stops bleeding. Sorry about the whole dying thing. Or you get a phone call from your boss being like, hey, you coming into work? And you're like, no, sorry, I forgot to send the email, I guess. Okay, good luck with the not dying thing.
He's like,
your boss is very forgiving. Your boss is very forgiving because your boss is also your friend and also knows you're actively dying every moment that you're alive. So yeah, you arrive at the clinic and there's nobody there. This is one of my favorite first instances of the game using your own paranoia against you. Because there's no one there. And so you start investigating, and it's like, oh, maybe something went wrong. I don't know what's up. You're going through this place.
There's a demon in the hospital.
Demon in the hospital. There's like some of the ceiling boards are off. You know, the ones for the audience, the ones where you're like, it's like particle board in the ceiling, and you can just like physically remove one of the boards.
Yeah,
easily.
A paneled ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah, paneled ceiling. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like some of the panels are down and you can't really see up in there at all. It's like pitch dark the moment that it meets it, and like other areas have not been lit like that at all. You go into the next hallway after you solve a tiny puzzle by finding a passcode to get through the door, and it's still silent except for your footsteps. There's a side door along the way with the computer inside. It's in the server room. The server room is dark as fuck. It's just an abandoned computer in there. It's open, and you can read the emails. You're like, what?
See,
did something happen here?
This entire sequence is hilarious to me, because, like, okay, imagine this in real life, right? You go to the hospital to get your brain scanned.
It's not even a hospital. It's like an office space that's being rented out by the guy doing the brain scan.
But imagine you go to this place to get a brain scan. Nobody's there. Your first instinct is to try to hack the fucking door locked with a padlock. Go over, read someone else's emails, and just like snoop around in every little fucking thing. Like, could you imagine it? Like somebody in real life doing that? And, like, it's just some security camera.
That's what a classic gamer would do.
Yeah, it's just.
It only works because it's a video game. And if you, in real life, yes, you, the gamer watching, ever find yourself in a similar circumstance, be sure to not do that. You will probably get evicted from the premises.
Yeah.
Or do that if you want to get evicted from the premises. And potentially arrested.
And potentially arrested.
Listen, if you're having to go in for a surgery and you really don't want to do it, just snoop around a bit. They'll kick you out.
Exactly. If you need that surgery to stay alive, everything worth doing is worth doing yourself.
And eventually you go across the hall fully, the door on the opposite side. At which point, the doctor man comes out of nowhere. I was like, "Hey, sorry, we couldn't get to you. Couldn't call you. The reception here is bullshit. I've been trying to contact you and tell you that like I'm gonna be a little late, but I see you got in here yourself
Somehow.
somehow."
Just like holding,
Anyway, let's get started.
holding the fucking note from his desk that has the passcode on it. Just glares at
Yes,
him.
somehow.
Yeah.
Anyways, have a seat. Let's get this going. One of the things that happened on my playthrough, you can close the door after you enter, and after both you and well, he's not a doctor yet. This is his doctoral thesis that you're helping him with, essentially.
Yeah.
But almost doctor guy,
almost doctor guy.
You can close the door behind him. I did not close the door behind him. So I go to sit down in the chair, and like the brain scan helmet comes down over my head, and I'm staring down the hallway the whole time, and I know nothing's gonna happen, but I'm still afraid. And the brain scan happens. He scans someone's brain. It's worth it. The point of scanning the brain is supposed to be that once they have like a thorough scan of your brain, they have a complete model and simulation of the way that your brain behaves and reacts to things. Then they can try hundreds, thousands, millions of different remedies on that like simulated version of your consciousness and see which one you respond the best to. And then they put that into practice on the actual you. So there's supposed to be zero risk, or at least as minimal risk as you could possibly get.
Huh.
What happens? You get brain scanned. Brain scan goes through. There is no problem. Your vision distorts. You're suddenly fully somewhere else, in this dingy, gray metal room with like liquid dripping down from the ceiling in places. You get up from the chair. It's like, what is happening? Where am I?
Exactly like that, verbatim.
Simon is just as confused as the player probably is, and you start to explore around. You go from place to place to place. There's this whole thing. This is where you encounter several things that are immediately weird. First of all, very high-tech place. Suddenly very science fiction. It gives off the vibe of being in a space station, which is weird as fuck because you were just in fucking like Ontario, Canada, in the year 2014.
It was in Toronto.
It was in Toronto? Thank you.
It's
all Canada.
He's from Canada. What part of Canada? Canada! What do you mean part of Canada? There's only Canada!
What do you mean part of Canada?
You can't just ask someone where in Canada they're from.
Yeah, it's like asking someone from Europe what country they're from, and they look at you like they're gonna murder you, because can't you tell I'm French?
No. Not really.
All European people are the same to me, except for Scotland and Northern Ireland.
It's because Scotland's better.
And also the Scandinavian regions.
So, like, Northern Europe.
Yeah, basically.
Scotland's still better, but yes.
Yeah.
I'm not biased.
No, not at all.
No, why would I be? Scotland! Freedom!
You wander around this place, giving a very space station-y vibes. And you at several points hear like heavy metal clanking and thumbering around. Like there's a big machine thing just actively roaming the area. You get to a door at some point, it's locked, you pick up an item that you need, you turn around to go back, because there's a lot of like environmental shit happening the whole time that I can't like purposely communicate. In the yeah. So I'm gonna finish my thing very quickly. It's just like another sentence.
That all I had to say was Omnitool. That was it. I was just trying to remember what it was.
Thank you. Yes, Omnitool. In the first room, you see like an Omnitool, like setup station essentially, and in the later room, you find an Omnitool, and it's like, aha! Well, now I can take this back here and do the thing.
Oh my god!
When you do that, you're in a room filled with like these giant robot guys that are suspended by these little crane things. I always think of them as like clothes hangers, but for giant robot exoskeletons. And when you pick up the Omnitool, around the same time you get the Omnitool, you hear this horrible noise, and you go back, and yeah, one of them sure is not there anymore. You go set up the Omnitool, and you return to the room. The entire time throughout the segment, it's worth noting, this metal monster man cannot actually hurt you, or at least you'd have to be like intentionally trying to get hurt by him. In order, because every time you're only going to be catching glimpses of him as he's moving somewhere else, and you're not going to be fast enough to catch up to him. He's not currently like actually reacting to anything that you're doing, so like you can sprint and he won't notice you. It's all just fear ambiance. It's all to just start getting in your head. Set up the Omnitool, and you finally, like, there's an Omnitool, a door that you saw earlier that was like, oh, you can only go in here if you have the Omnitool. And it's like, oh, great, I have an Omnitool now. You go to that door, you open the door, you go through it.
You can only go in if you have an Omnitool. Well, guess what, bitch?
I do. And you go in there, and you realize, oh, this isn't a space station. I'm on the ocean floor.
Water.
How did I get here?
How did I get here?
And you realize you're on the ocean floor. Excuse me. You're on the ocean floor, and you realize this because you go through that door and you end up in an undersea tunnel, and there's just the ocean on above and to the sides of you.
But
it is just no, the sea floor is below you.
Yes.
Which is a part of the ocean, I guess. So technically, yeah. You go through to the next segment. This is one of my favorite segments of the game. This is where you get to make another little choice.
Baby choice?
Little baby choice. This baby choice doesn't affect things going forwards. Much like your other choice that you could make earlier didn't really affect things going forward, but it's still a little baby choice.
A little bit of baby.
Like it means, I think it means something in this narrative about the human mind and what is the real you to have these little choices.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the narrative is not choice based, it still is like, I think, important to have those moments of full control where it's like you decide between these two options. No, there is not a third option.
The answer is not all of the above.
What do you think this is? Fucking Undertale? No. You get to this room, and you see this robot guy, and this robot guy is speaking in a human voice. It's kind of metallic, kind of a metallic human voice, but it's still a human voice. He's talking as if he's a human, and you try to tell him, "Hey, man, you're a robot," and he's like, "What are you talking about? Look at me. I'm a human being. Are you insane?"
What are you stupid? I hate to break it to you, buddy, but this is the peak male physique.
This is the peak male physique. Fucking the torso of a robot. No legs. No legs, barely a head. Only one arm. Peak male physique.
So far, a lot of the game just sounds like you are a gaslit schizophrenic.
That is what the opening hours feel like, yeah.
Oh no.
This guy, he is like, I'm a human being. You need to get help for me. Go get Kate. Things are wrong. Something went wrong with the process. I can't move. Help me. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll look around for shit. There's a lever over here on the wall, and I'm gonna flip it and see what it does. And you flip it, and the lights flicker, and he starts screaming in pain. Of course, the instinct is to turn the lever back off, at which point you can talk to him again and be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that's what that did." And he's like, "Listen, I don't care. Just go get me some help, dude." This is where, if you investigate the room a little more, you'll find out you do have a second option, which is not to save his life. It is, however, to euthanize him painlessly. Because here's the thing, right? You investigate the room a little, and you find out that in order to get into the next area, you gotta... Oh, sorry, something really important that I forgot. I think. Maybe? Oh, sorry, the segments of this game blend together in my brain. Because a lot of it is just go from point A to point B, avoid monster a long way. Philosophical conversation about the nature of the soul.
Point A, point B. Monster. Philosophy. Repeat.
And I think, yes, the reason you're going here, in the way that you are going here, I think, yes, in that sea tunnel, I believe you find a little way station, and you connect to someone, another person in the station, and she's like, "Listen, alright, I'm not receiving your signal well at all. You need to go here and get to the communications array, okay?" And Simon's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What is happening? Where am I? What's going on?" And the woman on the other side is like, "I can't hear you.
Stop. Go
to the communications array at the next site over."
What do you mean you can't understand me? What's going on?
Yeah, basically. And then the communication cuts out, and so he's like, "Oh, fine, I guess I'll go there." And so this is like the room before the communications array, where you find the robot guy. And so you need to divert the power to open the door to the communications array. And one of the switches is the one that tortures his ass. The other one, though, kills him immediately.
Oh.
However, here's the trade-off. If you do the switch that kills him immediately, you need to go a little farther to get into the door that leads to the communications array, and there will be a monster in your way. Whereas if you do the switch that kills him slowly, you can get to the door before the power diverts and immediately slip inside and not have to worry about the monster.
Can I say my experience with this scene through Markiplier?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so basically, same situation, same room, guy talking to Markiplier, Simon, whoever. Markiplier.
Mark Hyman.
Mark Hyman.
Lyman.
But yes, Mark immediately sees this man as a threat. Instantly.
Yeah, I mean that's the way you're supposed to see him immediately.
Yeah, but like backs away from him slowly, pulls the lever. The man starts screaming. Mark tries to just like walk away to get the sound to stop. Does not stop. You can still hear him in the hallways. He eventually turns the lever off, talks to the guy for a bit. Does not find the lever you're talking about, goes, well, I have to do this, turns it back on, and for the next, 2 minutes, there's just screaming in the distance while Mark's playing the game.
Yeah. No, I used the second lever, not remembering where I had to go next exactly.
Oh, no.
I evaded the monster perfectly. Up until a later point, I got through this game with only 2 deaths.
Very nice.
Not to brag or anything. Actually, sorry. 3 deaths.
Sorry, did I say 2? I meant 20. Very proud of myself.
Very proud of myself. You get to the communications array. You learn that the person you're talking to, her name is Catherine, and you learn that you're in a sea station underneath the ocean. And she's like, "Man, you are so confused. Were you just transferred here? Like, what's the deal?"
He's like,
I was in Toronto, Canada.
I work at a bookstore.
It's like, Toronto? What's anyone from Toronto doing here?
I don't know.
I don't remember having any staff from Toronto.
I work at a bookstore.
I would never employ someone from Toronto.
I hate Canadians.
Floods the room he's in.
The room you're in does flood, and you try to get away. Some people try to open the door so that they can go back down under because the door is sealed, watertight sealed. But the lever breaks off if you try to do that.
That's hilarious.
The room
go back. What?
There's a right. The room floods. There's a brief moment where the screen goes black for a second, and then it fades back in. And Tom's like, what? I'm underwater, huh? He looks down at himself. The visage of him in his normal clothes and his bare arms flickers and distorts, and now he's looking down at just himself in a wetsuit.
Oh.
Wonder how that happened.
I don't know.
He's very confused, but he's not about to look a gift horse in the mouth, and so walks underwater.
I think it's the brain damage.
I think it's the brain damage.
Can't be anything else.
This is the underwater segments of this game where you're exploring a place that is where you're exploring the between the facilities are easily the parts of the game that I like the least, because you are obviously much slower underwater, and navigation is kind of a nightmare. It's a little bit more free roam than all the corridors, but there's still an obvious path that goes down the direction that you gotta go in eventually, because there's nowhere else to fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
You get to before the room flooded. Catherine was like, get to this site, take the tram to where I am, please, so we can fucking talk about this.
Pretty please with cherry on top.
You do so. You get to the station. You get to the tram station, and it's like, oh fuck! I have to divert a different power source to this tram to get it working. Along the way, you're finding all these audio logs and notes of people who have been through here already. Who are most of them are presumed dead. This is the point where you find some fucked up shit, because it's like, okay, I gotta go find a place to divert the power from. There's this little hole. There's this crevice over here that's on the other side of the tram. I can follow the wire down this way, and I can get power to the tram station so that I can try and get to my destination easier. And you follow that wire down, and at the end of it, what you find is Pretty gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
What you find is one of the women that you've been hearing on the audio logs, sat down. This place is not underwater. I mean, it is underwater, but it's not like submerged.
You're not
She's breathing
actively
air.
in water.
Yeah. She is stuck next to a pipe where more of that weird goo has burst out of. It has largely immobilized her. In one of the logs, you learn that like she received she got hurt, and so like one of her lungs are damaged. And you get there, and you see her. She's down on the wall. She's stuck to the wall by the goo. The goo is hardened around her, and also, the goo has manifested a pair of lungs outside of her body that is connected to her through the rib cage, to breathe for her constantly. And you walk up to her. She looks up at you and she's like, "Please don't hurt me." And Simon's like, "What is happening? It won't let me die. It won't let anything die." Oh, that's... okay. Well, I'm sorry, but I have to unplug your lungs from this power thingy here. And you unplug one of them, and she screams, "No! Please, I don't want to die!" And this is the thing. This is another little choice you get to make, although I don't think people will realize that it's a choice you get to make. You don't need to unplug both of the things in that little terminal thingy. You can leave one of them plugged in, and the tram will have enough power to work. Just not enough power to like get you to your destination, but enough to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you can leave her alive there. I didn't. I did kill her. I did not realize there was a choice I got to make.
Oh my god.
And also, at this point in the game, it's like I've already killed 2 people. So... so it's like, why not, you know?
Why not? Add one to the pile. Oh my god.
And you get on the tram. Tram fucking breaks down halfway there regardless because there's debris in the way, and so it crashes. I don't know what happens if it crashes while it's in unsafe mode from only having one of the nodes free. Because I sure did kill that woman to have both of them, so mine was in safe mode.
I don't know what this segment of the game was because I sure did slaughter a human being.
It wasn't slaughter.
I sure did look her dead in the eyes and go, "I need safe mode," and then pull the plug on her life support.
I sure did. We want to talk pulling plugs on life support. Wait until later. The tram crashes halfway through regardless. And you have to walk the rest of the way, I think, to Lambda? I don't recall. Bunch of Greek letters going on here.
Yeah.
You get to the one that Catherine is in, whichever one that is. And as you enter that room, you have to walk underwater more to get there. Then you get to like the sealed area again. And as you get there, you hear Catherine scream, and she's like, "Leave that alone, you brute!" And then something crashes to the ground, and you enter the area, and you're like, "Catherine?" What's up? And she's like, "Oh, Simon, you're finally here. Do be careful. Don't look at that thing. Don't look at it. Don't let it know you're here. Just don't. Like, do get in this room, though."
If you can't see it, it can't see you.
Well, actually, I mean, yeah, that is basically how that works.
Funny.
It will know if you're looking at it from any angle. You see
Through a wall.
I mean, it has to be direct line of sight, but otherwise,
it's just if you look at it in the direction of it at all, you just hear dun, 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 dun. Fucking burst through a wall.
This monster is unlike the previous monster you've encountered. The last monster you encountered was definitely just like a collection of TVs that had like robotic legs attached to it, held together by all that gunk. But this is like a human body with like a giant glowing head. that you can't really discern its features, because whenever you look at it, it does like it significantly fucks up your perception. Your perception starts glitching out like its own fucked up TV.
That's weird.
So you can't,
Probably
you
brain
really
damage.
Probably brain damage. You can't. Probably the blood. Probably all the blood in your brain.
Yeah, probably all the blood. Yeah.
And you can navigate around that guy very slowly, and you get in the room with Catherine. But there's no person in the room with Catherine. There is instead a security camera attached to like a robotic arm, so it can swivel around. And Catherine's voice is coming out of that, and he's like, "I was expecting another person," and she's like, "I am a person. I'm just stuck in this thing." I was like, look at yourself. You're not a person either, if that's the definition. You're a wetsuit with some electronics slapped on it for good measure. He's like, what? I mean, I guess I am. I'm just trying to not think about that. I haven't seen a mirror.
No,
and I don't want to.
It's not. I'm not a robot. I'm brain damaged.
No,
I'm not a robot. I'm a friend.
A robot.
No, it's the brain damage. It's got to
Listen to me.
You got to take advantage of the brain damage to make them your friend.
You are also a robot. I don't know what a brain scan from fucking Toronto in 2007 or whatever is doing.
2015.
2015 is doing here in the year like 2090 something. Deep in the ocean.
2104. I remember the numbers.
That's Jesus. Good job. The year 2104. I don't know what the hell you're doing here.
I don't know either.
Like, I'm glad you are here. Now listen, what you're gonna do, listen, Simon, I'm gonna eject my Cortex chip, and you're gonna attach it to the multi-tool. Okay?
Brain.
You do it. Simon's very confused the whole time. But essentially, Catherine ejects her mind from the robot camera, and you attach it to your multi-tool, so that when you plug your multi-tool into things, it also puts Catherine into them. And this is where you learn many things at once. You learn this is the year 2104, that humanity went extinct quite a while ago, for the most part. Not anything like climate change being the death of us. It was a freak asteroid impact that we all saw coming, and it killed everyone on the surface. But the researchers who were doing science in the lab down here, they all survived. And the result is Catherine was researching brain scans and was like, well, okay, here's the thing. What if, as a sort of memento, we took a brain scan of everyone here and we just launched it into space where it'll orbit the Earth for fucking thousands of years? Yeah, there's no saving the human race, but like we can do that at least.
What if guys, hear me out? The Matrix?
And they do that. They matrix themselves.
But without the crazy robots in the Matrix. There's still crazy robots in reality. But they have nothing to do with the Matrix.
Yeah, so that's all you learn at once. Very confused about why Simon is here. So is he. He doesn't understand what's going on either. The situation continuously degrades because she's like, okay, this was like the project of me when I was like, in my flesh body. I'm not in my flesh body anymore, and like my mind continued to persist in my flesh body after I did the brain scan. So I have no idea if that space probe actually made it into space or not. I have to know. Can we go find out? Can you go help me find out? Simon, please help me find out. Well, I guess I have no choice. I have nothing else to do.
No, I gotta go back to my bookstore and
because books still exist. Actually, they do. Actually, you can find books around the station.
Yeah. All we have are Kindles.
So you go to the next site. I forget a bunch of stuff that happens on the way there. All I remember is that you learn that no, the probe did not launch. The probe is in fact deep within the fucking deep sea trench that this place was built next to.
Yeah, and then Catherine's like, "Oh shit, can we go down there? Can we go down there? Can we go down there? Can
Simon,
we go?"
Simon, you gotta go down there. Simon.
You're the one here that has legs. Use your little leggies. Go into the deep.
Right, yeah, I remember what happens next. You go into a crashed a ship that is submerged under the water, and you get into like one of their little escape vessels to get yourself to the next place. I think it's blown off course along the way there. So you have to like do another undersea trekking thing to like actually get like an underwater zeppelin to the location you're actually trying to go to.
What were her exact words? He was like, "What does this mean?" And she was like, "If I don't crash into Delta, we die."
Yeah, right. Along the way, you keep running into like the things with balls of lights for head, and Catherine tells you that they're just spitting out a bunch of electromagnetic radiation, and so getting close to them or looking at them fucks up your electronic body like a lot, like really badly. It kills you. you die.
Radiation will do that to electronics. Fun fact.
I forget. Yeah. So you get to a place. You land at, I think it's not Theta. You landed at one of the really small sites that is just like a little plateau in the area, and it's like, oh, good, okay, we're not fucked, great, and now we can actually get to where we're trying to go, because now we're trying to get to the deep sea jumpsuit thing, gigantic like deep sea crane, I think, to get the space probe, and then like take it to the space gun. There's a space gun here.
The gun, TM.
The gun. Yeah. Well, see, no, it's actually, I think this does actually use real world physics. Because like it's a space gun. It's a gigantic coil gun.
Oh god, yeah.
Underwater, and the reason it's so huge, and the reason it's a coil gun is because it's. Well, I mean, obviously it's a coil gun because you can like make stuff reach ridiculous speeds with a giant coil gun. But the reason it's underwater is so that the fucking heat diffuses correctly.
Yeah.
Or at least better, and also it reduces friction.
Yes, and also like, why settle for speeds that you could get at the surface level when you can just go into a fucking deep ocean trench and shoot it all the way up to the surface of the ocean.
And beyond, and into orbit.
The amount of speed that would produce is insane.
You can shoot it into orbit from that, because A, it's a coil gun, so it accelerates objects real fast. B, it's underwater, so there's less friction. And C, it's underwater, so it can actually stand its own mass. It can actually stand under its own weight.
If it can withstand the pressure of the deep ocean, it can withstand itself.
I mean, it is built on the ocean floor, but it's not. The coil gun is not in the oceanic trench, at least. This is where you encounter a brand new enemy type. Instead of looking like a humanoid figure with a disco ball for a head, it's a vaguely humanoid figure that does not it does kind of have a face, but it's twisted in a permanent scream, and it just gasps at you as it walks around. It doesn't have eyes, it's blind, but it has really good hearing. And also, I think there's one singular arm emerging from the center of the torso.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up little guy.
It's a fucked up little... I'm just a little guy.
It's like you're going through this whole area, right? And you're trying to access that crane. You have to go into an area with that fucked up little guy. It's a really good tutorial area for dealing with that fucked up little guy. Because you there's a lot, it's a server room, you have to reactivate a thing in there, and there's a lot of like objects on the floor that do make noise if you accidentally kick them, but there's a lot of, it's kind of maze-like, so if it does notice you, you can lose it pretty easily as long as you remain crouched and move slowly. It is pretty fast when it's running at you, but like it has no eyes or nose, so like you're fine.
You're fine.
You reactivate that thing. You go back up. You need to learn a security password to like lift a security lock. And this is where you learn a lot more things immediately about Catherine's brain scan thing. And you also learn something really fucked up shit. Yay!
Yeah.
Particularly, someone on the team was, after they found out that the brain scan it's not a consciousness transfer. It creates a copy of your brain, which is then put into the thing, but it does not transfer your living consciousness in there. And he came up with the idea of like, okay, so in order to create like perfect continuity of consciousness, I'm gonna commit
unalivement.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself. The moment that the brain scan ends, or shortly thereafter, so that my quote unquote real consciousness is what's in the machine and not in me, to achieve like perfect continuity. And you know, given that these are like the last remnants of humanity, and the fact that like slowly over time, the thingy that is keeping the station together, you learn at this point as well that like the thing that's keeping the station together is all that goop. It's called structure gel, and it does just like repair stuff most of the time. But after a while, it started doing all this crazy shit, and so like that's not so great. And so they're dealing with the stress of all that crazy shit happening, and the depression of being the last remnants of humanity, knowing that they're doomed regardless of what they do. And I don't know if you know this, but like scientists can be really smart in their specific fields and then absolute total dumbasses everywhere else. I only trust a neurosurgeon to do neurosurgery. I do not trust him to like do anything else.
Okay, but what if they were still a little guy? Would you trust them then?
You know, I've never met a neurosurgeon that is a silly little guy, so I don't know. I don't have an answer to your hypothetical. I can't really engage.
What if they just want to make you a sandwich? What if they just want to make you a classic PB&J?
I don't really like. I've never had a jelly that I liked, so I'd have to decline.
You've made the little guy sad.
How could you do this, Cole? How could you do this?
I'm a cruel fucker who only believes in making little guys sad.
We heard it here first, folks. Cole is indeed a heartless motherfucker.
It's true. I hate little guys, and have definitely never, in response to someone here threatening me, said, "Well, I'm just a little guy." Hey! Hey, I'm just a little guy.
I'm just a little guy.
You wouldn't begrudge a little guy for hating another little guy, would you?
You wouldn't infringe upon a silly little guy's attempt to do his dailies, would you?
Stupid, I did though.
Yeah, you sure fucking did.
So this guy decided to have like this weird, crazy idea of committing the moment that the brain transfer ended. Yes, getting blood all over the chair. That's a lie. He didn't do anything particular. He took a cyanide pill so that he would die the moment the scan finished.
New life hack.
It wasn't.
New life hack. Die.
There's no guns. There's no guns on the fucking undersea station. They have no weapons.
Yeah, but there's fucking cyanide pills.
He could synthesize one. He was a chemist.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Guys, I got a degree that allows me to synthesize chemicals. Good job. I'm now going to use this so that when my consciousness uploaded to the network, I'll kill myself so that I shall be transferred into the network.
Yeah, that's one of the skill trees you get when you get a chemist degree.
Get a fucking doctorate in biomechanics just so that you can have this crazy philosophy regarding brain uploading.
Yeah, at the end of the skill tree does just say die. It's to dissuade most people from picking it.
Are there any like biologists in the comments that can confirm that this is what your skill tree looks like? When I look at my skill tree, it's just like the start of the skill tree, and like everything else around it is grayed out. I can't access.
Yours are grayed out. Mine are like broken.
Huh.
I put everything into drawing. Help.
The ultimate min-maxing.
Look, at least that gets you stuff.
Yeah, like carpal tunnel. I went so far up the skill tree. I got the achievement addicted.
You go far enough up the skill tree, and the new skills start having drawbacks as like so that you can't be too powerful. You know,
you can draw a person in 30 minutes. Drawback: your arm hurts so fucking much.
for our audience, that's not just draw a full person. That is draw color and shade, a full character art, like a full person.
I will say I have slowed down. Mostly because I haven't had as much time to just draw constantly. But, you know, I will have you know that if I...
Isn't bad. 45 minutes isn't bad.
Oh yeah, definitely. If we're talking drawing a new character that does not have a pre-existing like image I have to go off of, absolutely I can get that done like it's seconds. Here's a fun art challenge for all you kiddos out there that shouldn't be watching this. If
Child unfriendly zone.
If you want to get really good at drawing, but like never have the time to like sit there for 4 hours, just do what you can do in 30 minutes, work entirely within a window of 30 minutes, and eventually you will get to the point where you can draw a pretty damn good picture in 30 minutes.
and then extend your allotted time and realize you can only draw a stick figure again. You can only draw in increments of 30 minutes.
You can
Extend it to 45 minutes, and you spend 45 minutes drawing a stick figure.
Okay. Stepping back out of the bit for a quick second. Before I know we will inevitably dive back in. For a few of my parents' birthdays, I would draw them, like, I would find these, like, pictures we had in the basement of, like, relatives of ours, and I would draw, like, a full, like, nice picture of the person based on the image. I could do it in an hour, and it looked really fucking good. So, like, if you let me sit down for 4 hours and really work at something, that's gonna come out great. I just don't have 4 hours, so 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I can spend like 4 hours on my character in our D&D game because I.
Don't remind me. That was painful. Why did he have so many tassels? So many tassels, Cole.
I don't know, because I'm ungrateful for all the free art you've done for me.
That's it. It's gonna cost money from now on.
No!
That was a joke, lads.
My non-existent income!
Your non-existent income. Ah. This only applies to friends, by the way. I don't want any messages from people like, free art!
Yeah, you're not doing commissions or anything.
No, I don't do commissions. And if I do, it will cost money. Just putting that out there. Anyway. Video game.
You find out this guy made a philosophy of self-murder in order to achieve a continuity of the self within the simulation. 3 other people follow his example, and the time that it happens the 3rd time. Right now, sorry, I think it's only 2 other people because it's like, nah, maybe it's 3. I forget.
Unfortunately, I was also working while watching, so yeah, I don't know the details.
This is not a number you remember. A few other people follow in his footsteps, believing this thing, and also commit the moment that they their brain scans finish. So the ARC project gets shut down after that, meaning that there are some people who do not get brain scanned. They're just not going to exist in the simulation. No. As time goes on and the situation gets worse and worse, fewer and fewer people are dedicated to the project until it is just 4 people, including human Catherine. And they're all very dedicated to getting this thing to the fucking space gun.
Gotta get to the gun.
Yeah, you find all that out. That's really fucked up. This is where a particularly weird moment happens, where you do get an old brain scan of one of Catherine's co-workers, and you have to insert.
Brandon!
Yeah, Brandon. He's a part of the security team, and you have to interrogate him over and over again by rebooting his consciousness in a computer again and again and again until you get it just right, so that you can,
do the thing.
You have to get a security code to turn off the security so you can try and access that deep sea thing to get to the ARC. That's what the space probe is called. It's called the ARC. Anyway, you get to that thingy, and it turns out that the structure gel has gotten to it first, inputting a human consciousness into that machine. And the moment you turn it on, it freaks the fuck out, detaches from the rigging, and just falls into the deep ocean. So that sucks. You get into a new area, You plug Catherine into the room there, and you're like, "Hey, this is what happened." And she's like, "Oh, well, that sucks.
What?
I guess we have this backup
Hey,
option at least."
You missed a tiny choice.
I did miss a tiny choice. What's that tiny choice?
The tiny choice. Okay, so once you're done tormenting many, many versions of Brandon,
You're right. Sorry, I forgot.
Catherine very nonchalantly is just like, do whatever the fuck you want with it, man. And you're given the option to either just, leave it be, shut the computer down and leave it as it is, or delete Brandon. Just remove Brandon from existence.
I deleted Brandon.
Why?
Well, because like there's no one else in that simulation. He's gonna go crazy.
You're not gonna leave it on.
Well, yeah, but it's like no one else is gonna come here to turn it back on either. There's no people left. Just Simon Jared. Guess there's that lady with the artificial lungs outside of her body if you left her alive, but she can't move. There's no reason. Actually, no, I don't think I deleted him. I think I did just unplug him. Yeah, I just left him there.
Yeah.
There's also another tiny choice
that
you get to make as well, because there's a little side room that you can go into, and this is where you find out where Simon is from. Other than 2015, Toronto, Canada. Simon's brain scan became the basis for creating artificial intelligence in the future.
Yay!
And you can find initial brain scans of Simon in the room where you also, well, not in the other room where you find like stuff about how to make the computer work that you're plugging Brandon into over and over again. And you can choose to delete the other copies of Simon. And I did do that.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. Going into the next area, you crawl through some vents. There's some spooky noises happening. You get into a little area where there's a prototype arc, and you plug Kath into the room. And she's like, "Oh, there's a prototype arc here. I gotta run it. I gotta see if it works. Because if this works, that means the actual arc works." Lo and behold, it do work. You have to do a little puzzle first, but it's storage management on your computer, but in a video game.
Whoa.
The closest thing most gamers will get to game development. There's also a little scanner in the corner of the room, and Catherine's like, "Hey, go stand in there. We can see what's up with your body." See why, like, you're sane, but all the other human consciousnesses that get shoved into things are not at all sane. Or go insane so quickly. And you find out that what Simon is right now is, a human body that has been decapitated and, like a robot sensor put where the head is, with his consciousness jammed into it. Just kind of crudely forced in there with structure gel throughout the entire thing, keeping all the bones and the body melded with the wetsuit. It's noted that the body is the body of Imogen Reed, who is Catherine's co-worker and implied lover?
Lesbians.
Possibly.
Yay.
Implied lesbians.
Implied lesbians.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy. Does this release in?
Yes, this will be releasing in June.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Happy Pride Month, I guess.
Our first video, Pride Month. It's about fear.
Fear. What are you?
Yeah. And so that's that. You go through a whole other place. You learn some more fucked up shit. One of the people in this area apparently went crazy from isolation and drank the structure gel to become one with the institution.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Started like putting people into like a meat pile, and when you're in the meat pile, you're put in like a lotus eater dream where like your best wishes are fulfilled. You get into the basement as you're trying to get to the next area, because the current plan, now that that deep sea craft thing didn't work, is to go put Simon into like a deep sea wetsuit instead of the one that he's currently in, one that can withstand the deep sea pressure, and then fucking send him down there to get the Ark into the fucking. It's not the Marianas Trench, but it is a deep sea trench, and my brain keeps wanting to say Marianas Trench. And you get there. You go through that whole area. You have to go through like a whole basement, filled with these fuckers. The fuckers that react to noise. That's where I died. The third time. That's the third time that I died. The first two times was against the disco ball people.
Not the disco.
Go through all that, and then you get to the area with the deep sea shit. And this is where you start being like actively haunted.
Oh.
There is one unique enemy in this game here, and she is some kind of ghost girl. She seemingly has the ability to teleport around. There is structure gel laced throughout the entirety of her body. This is where you learn a variety of things as well. You learn that everyone around here died. Not in the way that most other people in the site died, as in like there was a frequency that was emitted that it just exploded their brains.
Oh.
So that's cool. As you go through the site, you learn a few more things, and you learn that it was the structure gel responsible for doing that. The structure gel system in the game has a name. I forget what the name is.
Wasn't it just black box?
No, the black box was the device that they had on them that caused their brain to explode. So all the crew of this place have a black box implant that records their last moments, and Simon can interact with them because he's a machine man now. And all the black boxes in this area are just static.
Right.
So I forget what the name of it is. The name of the site is Pathos 2. I'm remembering that now. I'm forgetting the name of the structure gel entity, quote unquote. Anyway, you learn a few different things in this area here as you're going through it. You're essentially replicating the steps that it took to make Simon exist in Imogen Reed's body / the wetsuit. And you're doing that to transfer his consciousness into a new body that is already in one of the deep sea diving suits. And while you're doing that, you learn several things. You learn, first and foremost, someone theorizing that the reason that the structure gel is doing all this shit now is because its orders, essentially, like the prime directive programmed into it originally, was to just help the crew of Pathos 2 survive. But then, like, when the rest of humanity was exterminated by the meteor, its objective became help humanity survive at any cost. And so the people it's been grabbing, it's not killing them. It's keeping them alive in some of the most twisted and gruesome ways possible.
It's the wow.
It's the wow.
Wow.
Yeah. W-A-U, the wow. The wow is keeping them alive in some of the most twisted ways that it possibly can, using structure gel. It is feeding them all the nutrients. It is dulling their perception if it has to. It is creating artificial lungs outside of your body that you get to stare at as they breathe. Whatever it takes, as long as you live, it doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter the quality of the life that you're living. It doesn't matter if you're essentially in hospice care for the rest of forever. You're gonna live.
You're gonna live, damn it.
Yeah. It's, yeah. The ghost girl here, her whole body's like fucked up with structure gel. She has some degree of presence because she's begging you to not look at her and not get close to her. And then when you do, she goes kind of ballistic anyway and starts like attacking you. The WoW isn't really causing her to attack you necessarily, because just her being near you and colliding with you is going to fuck up your senses. Because remember, Simon's made of electricity now, and the electromagnetic radiation that is put off by the WoW and by the people who are being forcibly kept alive by the WoW is enough to just fry him immediately. It just kills him. So it's not trying to hurt him, but it doesn't recognize that what it's doing is fucking hurting him. Do the whole consciousness transfer thing into the deep sea suit, and as you do that, as your like consciousness resumes in the deep sea diving suit, you hear Simon yourself off in the corner saying, "Hey, Catherine, why hasn't the thing happened yet? I'm really confused." And she's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it." And then you get out of the little pod that this deep sea suit is in, and it's like, Catherine, why is my body still talking over there? And she's like, "Oh well, I thought you knew from the place we were just at. It's not a consciousness transfer; it's a copy and paste.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's happening." Like, wait. So you're telling me that like I could be in there still? I am in there still, and which me is which is just a flip of the coin? And she's like, "Yeah." Like, yes, that's how that's always worked. I thought you understood that at this point.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Catherine in SOMA is, I think, really well written because it really is the thing of like, Catherine's a neuroscientist, and has forgotten what is like common knowledge and understanding, especially being surrounded by other scientists.
Yeah.
And has forgotten a lot throughout the thing that Simon is A, not a scientist, and B, from the year 2015.
Yeah.
Literally some guy. And she gives him the option. They get into a huge fight about this, and he's like, I don't want this. I don't want there to be two Simons walking around. That's fucking weird. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, if you want, you can kill him. Here, I'm opening the door for you. If you want to go kill yourself. I did, by the way. I did kill other Simon.
Yeah, okay, so this is where the game really, like, the game's been sort of talking about this sort of thing throughout, but like this is when it like definitively sort of brings it in, the question of consciousness, the concept of like what is you, right? Like, because like, okay, yeah, that's like Simon is Simon, you copy his brain, you paste it into a weird robot corpse thing. Is that Simon? Or is that a copy of Simon? Or is that a completely different person? And then you make a copy of that one. Is that also Simon? Or is that just completely different from the copy of Simon, which is completely different from the original Simon? Like it's like do you see these people as the same person, or are they individual people that just happen to have the same memories and experiences?
And like the point of like resuming consciousness and like that coin flip as well, because for the moment in between the copy and paste, before one consciousness resumes and the other is halted, the coin is on its edge. There is in that moment not a definitive Simon for that split second. There are two Simons.
Yeah.
And then she like puts one of them in stasis essentially.
Yeah.
And it's like he'll wake up later and he'll never know that anything is happening. And Simon's like, that's fucked up! You see how that's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it's a really fun theme that I do enjoy thinking about. I think it's a really fun question of like, because a lot of it in the game at least is like harbored on the concept of continuity, of the continuation of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because for Simon, his consciousness continues right from 2015 in Toronto directly into Pathos 2.
Yes.
There's not a break between. There is no pause. He's immediately shunted there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And the same thing happens when we follow the pasted Simon into the deep sea diving suit. He's just there now.
Yeah.
That continues, but also that time, and the first time, although unbeknownst to us, consciousness continued for Flesh Simon original, it continued for original Simon. Then he lived a whole life and died. I didn't live a whole life. We find out that the treatments that guy was intending on using didn't work.
Yeah,
he was real sad and fucked up about it. But he lived a bit afterwards and died.
Yeah,
and then sorry. I think we're trying to say the same thing and talking over each other.
Well, I'm trying to specify that the way you learn that is that there is a computer you find when you find out that Simon's a learning AI thing, where there's a bunch of recordings of like the post scan.
That's right.
And so like it starts off with like, oh yeah, the scan went great. That was harmless. Oh, it was fun. Oh yay. And then it's like, oh, this is the sort of diets and stuff, blah blah blah. And then it gets to the end where like the almost doctor guy's like, this should have worked. I'm so sorry. And then Simon basically is just like, I mean, hey, dude, you can use the brain scan. It's not like I need it.
Simon's like, you can use the brain scan. It's not like I need it. And like, hey, like for what it's worth. The last few months gave me, like, a lot to look forward to in the future. Like, this did dramatically improve my quality of life for the time I had left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but, like, what those recordings also showcase, not just that, Simon's a learning AI.
To be clear for the audience, it's not that Simon himself is an artificial intelligence in the game, it's that his brain scan is used essentially as a tool for AI to learn off of.
Yes.
Because it was one of the first, like, brain scans that actually, like, could be used that way.
Yes. But that's the other thing you learn from that is that from 2015 Simon's perspective, he just had a brain scan and went home.
Yeah.
Like yeah, he's still dealing with like, the brain damage and the bleeding and the dying, but like he didn't get transferred to like 100 years in the future. He didn't become a robot. He is just a guy who got in a car crash, had a brain scan, and then died from the brain damage of the car crash. And now the Simon that we are is just a copy of that consciousness shoved into a horrific amalgamation. But from that consciousness's perspective, we went from brain scan to now, and all this shit happening, but
in an instant.
But like, this again brings up the question: is that Simon, or is that just a copy of Simon?
I think the answer that the game seems to try to lead you towards is that it is Simon. It's not any less Simon, it's just a different Simon now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that Simon will insist that he is Simon.
Yes.
And so will any other Simon you don't run into any other Simons except for this particular moment in time where you have the opportunity to kill yourself and continue living. But it is like a very interesting thing, because then, like, if both of them were conscious at the same time, they would both be insisting, "I'm Simon," because they are both Simon.
No, it's I'm just the real Simon. No, I'm the real Simon.
Yeah, I think the Simon, at least, it's less a matter of like who is the real Simon and more of like, whoa, 2 Simons at once? That's weird.
That's not okay.
And also, like, the particular thing that Simon, the Simon that we follow, Pasted Simon,
Pasted Simon.
In particular harps on, is the fact that, like, if he and Catherine are leaving this area to go get the Ark to then launch it into space with their consciousnesses aboard it, then, like, wouldn't that leave this Simon here by himself? Like, forever? With no one else? Isn't that, like, super fucked up and unethical? And Catherine's like, oh, just don't fucking think about that, Simon. We have a job to do.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's just like, at what point do you at what point do you like try to keep a human life, or at least a human consciousness life in this case, alive? And at what point do you give up on it? Because
there is also the question of at what point do you give up on trying to keep a human life alive? Because that's what the WoW is doing.
Yeah, like, and that honestly, that one honestly just depends on the person. Because there are people who are like, yeah, no, if I ever, you know, had some horrific, slow death put upon me by destiny, I'd rather just go out the quick way. And then there are other people who are like, do not unplug that life support, I don't care how bad it gets. Mm-hmm. You know, and it really just depends on the person. And it's very interesting that Simon gets the choice to fucking kill this other him, because they're both him, right? So if anybody's gonna know whether or not this guy wants to cease being and have the other one continue, it's gonna be Simon. So in my mind, right, like, this choice, like, this decision on human life is very different from the decision when it comes to other people you encounter around in the game, like the lady with the lungs.
When I killed that lady with the lungs.
Yeah, like you go, like Simon goes to pull the thing out and she literally screams at you, no, I don't want to die, right? It's like she's like, she has just made it clear she just wants to live. She doesn't care how. She wants to, she doesn't want to die.
The interesting thing I think here as well is, like, she is saying that right now, but, like, later in the game after that, we see people who are so much more fucked up by the WoW, and who are clearly in so much more pain. She's also in an incredible amount of pain, but all that's happened to her is that she can't move, and her lungs are outside her.
Yes.
And it's like, compared to other people that we see later, that's not so bad.
No.
Like, it obviously hurts a lot all the time. But, like, she's not suspended in flesh goo with tendrils going into her mouth, so yeah. I think she's otherwise fine.
Yeah, like, but yeah, it's interesting.
It's a great thing to explore. It's not at all what I would expect to be explored in this game whatsoever, but here we are, I guess.
Well, like
when you start the game, this is not the fucking theme that you think is gonna be there.
Yeah, I could, yeah, but like at the same time, it seriously does add to, like, the horror of it, because it's like, okay, yeah, you've managed to scan all these people's brains and put them in this arc thing, and you want to shoot it into space to save humanity, but, like, did you really save humanity? Or did you save a bunch of copies that perceive themselves as humanity, and the actual people you copied are fucking dead?
And the thing, like, I think the thing that Catherine would say is, like, I saved humanity, because at this point, that's all that's left of humanity.
Yeah.
Such interesting people.
Yeah. But anyway, we're plot. What was the plot?
Well, we're at the plot of where we go. We take the deep sea elevator down into deep sea, and along the way, another one of the WoW creatures jumps on us. This one is in control of itself, you see, and is capable of telepathically speaking to you.
Oh.
He tells you, like, you have to find Site Alpha, Simon. He uses your name directly. Simon, you have to find Site Alpha. Simon. You have to poison the WoW. Simon, kill the WoW.
You have to kill the WoW. Simon, you gotta. Verbatim.
Yeah, and then you wake back up on the seafloor, and Catherine's like, "Oh, thank God! I thought you were fully dead, and we were just fucked." Anyway, that thing jumped at you and just stared at you for like 30 seconds, then left. I was really confused. I have no eyes right now. I can't see anything, but I felt its weight on the platform. Isn't that nifty, Simon? By the way, for me, this has all been one long, giant conversation. Every time you unplug me from something, my perception doesn't stop and start. I just am suddenly there instead. It's really disorienting. Anyway, unplug me.
Anyway, do it again.
You go through this. This is one of my favorite sections of the game because you learn that the WoW was already mutating living creatures before humanity perished on the surface. Because there are creatures down here, there are fish down here that have been affected by structure gel and kind of mutated into other shit for a long time now. They are hostile to you. And also, there's the deep sea trench nearby that, yes, does have like volcanic wind essentially blowing from it. Yes, it does make traversing the area difficult. Yes, it is dark as fuck. It is a oceanic trench. You can only find your way forwards by some very, very, very dim lights. And you are only safe around those lights. This is the scariest part of the game. Which makes sense, because this is like right before the climax, right? This is like right before we get the arc and actually shoot it into space. Spoilers, I guess you're successful.
No.
Is this whole area, and this is like, it's dreadful to go through. Absolutely a nightmare to play. 10 out of 10. It's a horror game. It's supposed to. It's supposed to be like a little dreadful in this area.
It's supposed to be a nightmarish experience. It's not supposed to be a nightmare to play.
Okay, I'm not saying that like the controls in this area suddenly get worse or anything, to be very clear. I'm saying that like what makes it a nightmare to play is the fact that it's so dark and you can't really see the lights ahead of you very well. And you gotta like navigate around, and there's a part of the fucking part that you go through. You have to go through a little cave area, and it's filled with fucking ocean spiders, and they're not a threat to you. But you might think they are for a second because they're ocean spiders. They're scary as fuck.
I don't like.
You're in this dark cave, and you get to the exit of the cave, and you see one of the lights in the distance, and you're like, "Oh, is that? That's where I'm supposed to go." Right? And you start walking towards it, and that is the direction you're supposed to go. And you realize too late as you get close to it, man, that sure is a mutated anglerfish.
Woo!
And it does try to eat you. I did almost die a fourth time to that
guy. Fun side note. The Markiplier, because I watched the playthrough. Throughout the game, kept like getting attached to the little floaty guys in the ocean.
Oh yeah, well they are very easy to be attached to.
Yeah, but there was one he found in this specific segment that was a really big one. That was a big one, and he called him BB. And so he's like, "Oh, BB, we gotta run!" And he's running around, and then he gets out of the cave, sees the light in the distance, and he goes, "Oh, it's BB! Oh my God, BB's alive!" And then this fucking anglerfish comes at him, and he's like, "That's not BB."
Certified Markiplier moment.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, you trek through that whole area. You get to the place that Catherine and you located the WoW, and it has like a GPS in it, and that's how you knew the location. No, there's not actually a lot of the WoW's monsters here. There's just like one of them on the first floor when you enter that area, and then you go downstairs and you don't see the WoW for like the rest of the zone. But there's always the anticipation. Because every time the game gives you a little bit of safety, it is ripped away pretty quickly. So it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to know that like things are fine here. And also things aren't really fine here, because this is a dormitory for a bunch of the scientists. And you can open a bunch of the doors and you can look inside and you see human people who've been cocooned up by the WoW, and you can hear their labored breathing. And sometimes they grunt a little if you walk by them, but none of them attack you.
Yeah.
Wow, none do anything. It's a weird place. One of the rooms belongs to that guy who telepathically contacted you earlier, and his door is locked. We'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
Because you're navigating the area. You're going around, right? And you do a little door puzzle. You unlock the door to give you access to where the Ark is. Interestingly, you try to go up there first, and you like knock on the door essentially, and the woman behind it is like, "Go away! Wow, I'm not letting you get the fucking Ark." But then you can go to like a different place, and you can remote access the door and open it anyway and walk in. And she's like, "Who the hell are you? You're like a person?" And he's like, "Yeah, the closest thing there is to one." And you realize you're talking to a fully normal human being.
What?
There's no WoW bits attached to her. Just like a normal IV drip and like several life support things keeping her alive right now. But she's a normal human being. She's like, "Okay, great. Are you gonna take the thing to the thing?" He's like, yeah, I fully intend to. Catherine and I have a plan. He's like, Catherine's dead. He's like, "Oh, it's not like Catherine. It's like Robo Catherine." It's like, oh, it's all weird. This is weird. Life is weird the past few months. Anyway, take the thing, and can you do me one last favor, by the way?
Yeah, what?
Can you kill me?
Huh?
So you're given the option of whether or not you want to kill the last remaining human being. She wants you to. God, does she want you to? The only thing that she wants, other than to die, is for you to stay with her as she dies.
No, I have a sneaking suspicion. You murdered her. But
wow, you got me right on the beat.
But I'm wondering if you stayed with her, or if you were like, "Nah, I got a game to finish, bitch."
I got a game to finish. It's not like her dying takes like a fucking half hour or something. It only took like 2 minutes.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm too much of a gamer. Leave.
I'm too much of a gamer. I will unplug your life support, but I'm also taking the Ark and leaving before you die.
You get
Bye.
to die alone, dumbass.
She reminisces a lot about her life. She's very sad, but she's also like, yeah, this is fine. I'm okay with dying now. Bye, Simon. It was nice. It was nice knowing you. You were nice.
See you in the next video. Oh.
And you pick up the Ark, and with God, I swear to God, the moment I picked up the Ark, I was filled with horrible fear, because you gotta carry it in one of your arms, and you can't climb ladders while you have it, so you have to go back down all the ladders, and you have to just eat the fall damage. I was terrified the whole time I was taking it somewhere that like some door is gonna burst open, some fucking wall is gonna come down, and I'm gonna have to run with this heavy thing in my arms.
Well, and also to look at this from like a heavily immersed like perspective, like this is the last bits of humanity. Yeah, you're just carrying it around like a box.
Right now. I kid you not. Maybe like a person's torso. In terms of like width and height. It is of course a rectangular prism. Which is most people's torsos are not like square on either side. Square on either end.
I would hope not. That doesn't sound healthy.
I mean, most people aren't Roblox avatars, am I right?
You're right, some of them are Minecraft Steve.
God damn it, that's such a better... I'm disappointed in myself. You take the arc down all those stairs, you affix it to like this little like rail thingy that's like gonna deliver it to the space gun, and then I personally went back upstairs and received a telepathic message from that guy who was like, Simon, go into my dorm room so you can get some answers. Simon, you go in there, and it's like you go in there and it's all a bunch of stuff about Site Alpha, and it's like, okay, well this is weird. I guess I'll go to Site Alpha maybe. And as you're following the little thingy with the arc attached to it. Oh, by the way, this whole time, the entire time you're in this facility with the arc in it, you don't have a place to plug Catherine in once you like get into the dormitory.
Mm-hmm.
So she is like unaware that all of this has happened.
Woo!
You following the arc down this little monorail thingy, this crane delivery monorail, and you come across a cave-in. Now, the rail goes past the cave-in with the arc attached to it, just automatically, and it's like, oh fuck, okay, I gotta find a way around. And a telepathic voice comes back, it's like, Simon, Site Alpha's this away. Site Alpha will also take you to where the rail goes. Simon.
Simon.
So you follow the voice. You go to Site Alpha, and this is where you get one final choice.
Oh shit.
I think it's the last one. I don't recall being able to make a choice after this. Choices: kill the WoW, or don't kill the WoW. Here's the thing. Apparently, the body that Simon is currently inhabiting, she had cooked up a little poison structure gel that she was going to introduce into the WoW. And then the WoW did that's why the WoW did its like psychic screech back over at that site earlier to kill all the people there because it's afraid of dying. Or at least the closest it can be to be afraid to die. It doesn't want to die because it wants to continue its mission of preserving humanity. Or something like that. Like, that's the closest approximation we can come up with, because it sure is not a human brain in there.
And if I kill all the people, then they can't kill me, and then I can go back to saving humanity.
And so, well, none of the people that it's attached to are dead. They're just horrifically mutated. And so she has like a poisonous structure gel and that she had, and she was going to take it there. And then her brain got exploded. And then you import Simon's consciousness into her body.
Slap that on with duct tape.
And you walk down. There's a fun fact. Both of the like human forms that Simon inhabits throughout this game, their original owners are women. Which I just find fun. He never contemplates this through the entire game. He has bigger problems on the mind at the moment.
I mean, yeah. When we're talking like when we're, I think we're beyond like physical gendered attribute. It's when you are a corpse in a wetsuit with a consciousness slapped in it.
Corpse, not corpse in a wetsuit. Corpse fused to a wetsuit.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain point where like your self-image becomes kind of irrelevant.
I mean, Simon's self-image was eroded the moment that he realized he wasn't a fully flesh and blood human.
Yeah. Well, even then, it's like okay, let's give an example of just like a normal fucking person, a normal person who's like, you know what, I want to work out more. I want to work out more because like when I picture myself being, you know, like more muscular, like stronger, you know. Simon's over here like, you know, I picture myself being a human being, but that's clearly not the case.
Simon's self-image was irreversibly destroyed the moment he realized his eyes were cameras.
Yes. So I feel like when if the question of gender ever came into his mind, it was quickly consumed by the sheer amount of other questions he had, because holy fuck, it has been 100 years.
So you go to start off with, you have the option of killing the WoW. You can kill the WoW, or you can not kill the WoW. And the reason that I've seen people, I killed the WoW. I play this game as if I'm a rampant axe murderer.
I noticed.
Well, see, because I went into it with the perspective of like, I don't know. I feel like Simon's the kind of guy who hates suffering, and so would like thinks death is preferable to suffering, and therefore kills all those people. That's my perception of him.
I don't know, man. Seems like Simon's suffering a lot himself.
Yeah, but like Simon is suffering in the goal of no longer ever suffering again by being in the Ark. Like that's he can't put all these people in the Ark. Most of them are immobile and cannot be moved to the brain scan station. Or they've already been brain scanned.
Yeah, but when somebody's literally like telling you, please don't kill me, and then you kill them, like that's kind of fucked up though.
Well, no, see, listen, the reason I did that one was actually very different, because like I said, I didn't know that was a choice.
Well, okay, you know, I understand that, but like, if somebody did know that was a choice, and they did it anyway.
Yeah, that is a different situation.
Yeah, like that's fucked up. Like even if the person's suffering, if they tell you blatantly, "Do not kill me," then you kill them. I was like, bro.
Yeah, I thought I did think that the tram needed full power to work. I didn't know that was a decision. So that one murder that I did, that one specifically, not fully intentional. I don't think we can count that one towards the way that I personally approach decision making in this game, because I didn't know it was a decision. No, well, the other ones, sure. That's fine.
This is fine.
I mean, you don't really get to choose if you kill Robot Guy or not. Yeah, I think Robot Guy either dies or like lives in eternal agony. I actually don't know if he dies if you pull the other switch, or if you just get far enough away to stop hearing him scream.
I don't know. I just remember the screaming from Markiplier's video, and I thought it was funny.
That's the other way. That's the other way that the WoW has been trying to keep humanity alive. It's by taking brain scans and just putting them into random machinery. That typically causes the person to go pretty crazy pretty fast, because that is not at all compatible with like their own mental self-image. But Simon is different, right? Simon's got like a human corpse body, all meshed up with machinery. So the implication is that like the WoW started to run out of brain scans of actual crew of Pathos 2, and just like took a Simon off the shelf and just like slapped it in there, just to see if it worked, and it did work. Simon's self-image, it gets kind of fucked up like a lot, but like he doesn't fully lose his mind and like recoil in abject horror, because he's still very human shaped. And so like this is the thing, right? The WoW has been improving in its efforts to keep humanity alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Its methods have been getting less grotesque and less fucked up, and definitely far, far less painful. So, like, is it worth keeping alive because it may one day develop a method that is not so fucked up and horrendous? Or should you kill it because of everything that it has done that is so fucked up and horrendous? Can you assign moral actions like that to a machine that is barely cognizant, that absolutely does not seem to have, like, fully conscious thought? I don't have an answer to that. I did kill it, though.
See, and then in the one I watched, Markiplier didn't kill it. Not for any philosophical reason. It was entirely because the guy kept yelling at him to do it, and he eventually was like, you know what? Fuck you, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, yes, a classic Markiplier.
Because I don't take kindly to people yelling at me to do things. He just didn't do it out of what I can only assume is spite.
If you do kill the WoW by putting your whole hand into that thingy, it does eat your hand.
But like,
so if you choose to kill the WoW, it does eat your whole left hand. And the next time you boot Catherine up at the next area in the Space Gun facility, she's like, "What the fuck happened to your hand?" He's like, "It's a long story. But it's not really, it's just complicated."
It became snackies.
I gave snackies. And like while you're going downstairs, there are no more WoW monsters after you encounter the heart of. Well, sorry, there's one more. There's one more WoW monster after you encounter the heart of the WoW.
Wow.
And that is the I don't know, this like giant eel shark thing that's so heavily mutated by the structure gel, I cannot tell what it was originally. It's got a lot of teeth. It doesn't seem to kill you. It picks you up and throws you around a lot.
Yes.
It was really annoying when it came to trying to fucking navigate to the gun. Because it's just a straight line. It's just a straight line there, but there's this thing in the way, and it kept throwing me in places. I would keep saying, "Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me," over and over again when it picked me up, and it never did kill me. But it sure did make getting there a giant fucking hassle.
Don't kill me, whatever you say, buddy. It just fucking picks you up, swings you around 360 degrees, yeets you into the ocean.
It's like, well, I guess that didn't kill me. Get to the gun, to plug Catherine in to the initial interface there, and she's like, "Oh, Simon, this is great." And you go down to where the gun shell is. After you go pick up the arc first from the loading bay. And if you're missing your hand at this point, she asks you, "So you're really not going to tell me what happened with your hand?" And someone's like, "Yeah, I killed the WoW." And she's like, "You what?" He's like, "Yeah, there was like poison in my hand, and I put it in the heart." And Site Alpha is real, by the way, because it was like an urban legend, apparently, and I don't know, dude. My hand gone. It doesn't matter, though, because we're getting on the arc soon, right? So it's like, none of this matters right now. She's like, yeah, that's right. So you pick up the arc, you load it into the space gun shell, the shell of the space bullet, and that's where you find Flesh Catherine's dead body. The team that had traveled there with her was starting to have second thoughts, and they were like, "Catherine, we're unsure about this now." And she's like, I'm fucking loading the thing in the gun." And they're like, Catherine, come on, listen to us, Catherine." And so they start tussling, and they like push her over, and she clunks her head and dies.
Yep.
Load the thing into the gun. You tell Catherine this. She's like, "Oh well, that's unfortunate. But I'm sure that she'll, live happy knowing that we've accomplished her dream. My dream. Our dream."
That's not the dialogue I remember.
No, it isn't. I'm just trying to replicate my fucking brain.
what they're doing in the game.
I played this game like 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah. So basically,
my memory's a bit bleh.
Yeah. Basically, what happens here is that Catherine gets very upset because she's like, "Why the fuck would they kill me? Like, what the fuck? Like, these are my friends. Why would they do that?"
Right.
And you know, and Simon's trying to be like, "Well, yo, calm down. It's I'm sure it was an accident. Blah blah blah." And she's like, "Oh, you should fuck them. They suck. Blah blah blah." And that's basically what happens there. But it's like, it's interesting to see throughout the game here. It's interesting to see the different perspectives of Simon and Catherine, because in Catherine's mind, all versions of Catherine are just Catherine.
Yeah,
right?
It's all her.
It's all her. Like, so it's like the human Catherine is Catherine. She's Catherine. The Catherine that's on the ark is Catherine. It's all Catherine. But for Simon, he sees every Simon as a different person. Even if he sees them as Simon, it's a different Simon from him. Like, he doesn't see this as a consistent existence. He sees this as a, you copy pasted and then deleted the original. And so in this situation, while Simon is like, you know, I'm sure it was an accident, like it's like the, you know, it's what it happens and all this other stuff, she's really upset because in her mind that's her. But in Simon's mind, she's not Catherine, she's a different version of Catherine.
Usually, yeah, in Simon's mind, it's like, I mean, like, it is you, I guess, but like, it's not you.
Yeah, like
you're here right now.
Yeah, like that was Catherine version 1. You're Catherine version 2. Like,
I think she's Catherine version 3 because Catherine version 2 is in the arc.
Okay, right. Okay, Catherine version 3. Yeah, but like you're Catherine version 3. Like these are two separate things, even though you are derived from the same consciousness.
I'm about to get into like a major kerfuffle regarding those different perspectives. Because as you load the thing into the space gun, you have Catherine plugged in, helping you load the thing into the space gun, and you shoot it up there. And before it gets shot up there, she's like, "Yeah, we can like prep the launch sequence and do the upload of our minds into it at the same time, so that way we both, you know, that's the quickest and most efficient way to do this. Like, we have to do it this way, otherwise, yeah, otherwise who knows what the fuck could go wrong. Like, we couldn't. I just don't want to risk more things, Simon.
Yeah.
And she launches the thing. Simon's mind barely gets uploaded into the arc. The implication, I think, is that like Simon's brain scan uses such old like data compression that the system just takes longer to process it.
It's like, what the fuck is this old shit?
But it does get up there just barely, just before the launch happens. And Simon is still sat in the chair.
Yeah.
Because that's how this works. It's a copy and paste, and he lost the coin flip this time.
Yeah.
And he's so mad.
Yeah. And then Catherine's reaction to this is also interesting because she gets fed up with him, in my mind, like rightfully at this point, because like he keeps thinking that like, oh, we're just gonna go into the arc, and it's like, that's not how this works. Like, it has been explained to you multiple times, Simon. This is a copy paste. This is not a transfer, for fuck's sake. But yeah, it's like she basically, along lines of like, I can't keep explaining this to you, like this is a coin flip and you lost, we both lost, and he starts getting mad at her and is like all this other stuff, but like it's again, it's the different perspectives, like in her mind, Catherine's on the arc now.
Yeah.
Like they made it in her mind, but in Simon's mind, they didn't make it. There are two different versions of Catherine and Simon on the Ark that go get to live the high life in space while they have to sit there and die. And this argument gets to such a heightened point that Catherine's like system shuts down, I think.
Throughout the game, we see numerous people who've been uploaded into techno stuff essentially die once they get like too overwhelmed. This also happens to Brandon. Like, the reason you have to restart Brandon's simulation earlier in the game over and over again is because he gets way too fucking stressed and it just shuts off automatically.
Yeah. Because he's like, this is all a lie. You're lying to me. Everything's fake.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so she shuts down, and then this Simon's like, wait, no, don't leave me alone. Hold on.
Yeah, Catherine, please don't leave me alone. But it's too late. And then the credits, and then you cut to other Simon in the Ark, and he walks up to digital Catherine. Here's a fun thing that I started thinking about after the game. There was already a Catherine in the Ark.
Yeah.
And then other Catherine also puts herself in the Ark. Are there two Catherines in the Ark?
Probably, yeah.
Or do they like merge into one mega Catherine?
I don't think so, because
I don't think they merge either.
Because I don't remember where, but there's I don't remember if it's a dialogue or a fucking email or whatever, but it's some words that somebody's put somewhere in the game that basically talks about how, like, yes, for a short amount of time, you and the copy are the exact same person. Like, you both have the exact same experiences and the exact same memories. However, as you live your life and the copy lives its life in the simulation, those two things you start having different experiences and different memories, and it gets to a point very quickly where the copied consciousness is not the same person anymore.
Yeah.
And so if we take that logic and we put it into what happens at the end of the game here, the version of Catherine that was already in the Ark was the version of Catherine that had first scanned her brain. And she was the first one to do the brain scan because she had to test it to make sure it worked. So her brain scan is like really early on. Like, no idea all this shit's about to go down. But then we have this version of Catherine, who has been in the TV screen, has been picked up by Simon, has gone on this adventure to make sure the Ark goes to where it's supposed to go, and so, like, this version of Catherine is a completely different Catherine than the one that's on the Ark, if we're talking personality-wise, because both versions of Catherine have had completely different lived experiences at this point.
The crazy thing is, I don't think either Catherine cares that there's a second Catherine around.
No.
Because to both of them, it's all Catherine.
It's all Catherine, all the way down.
It's all Catherine, all the way down. This is not a disc world balanced on the back of 4 turtles.
This is an Ark world. Catherine. It's an Ark world balanced on the back of the conglomerate Catherine.
The Catherine conglomerate.
Join the conglomerate, Simon.
Simon, join the conglomerate, Simon. I hope you know that from this point onwards, saying to you, blank Simon blank is just going to be a running gag I do from now on, I think.
It is very funny. I like it. It's the vibe.
To wring the humor out of anything that we do, like a dish rag, just.
We are a troupe. We do have to do funny all the time.
I was like, that's the plot of Soma, and I really love the way that it explores a lot of its weird philosophical ramblings. Because a lot of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially upon like first inspection.
Well, it's hard to make sense of it because
absolutely. I drink water. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's hard. It's hard to make sense of it, not just because, quite frankly, a lot of it's very complicated, but just like the idea, the concept of taking your consciousness, like yourself, and putting it in a different host, in a different body, in a different machine, like whatever you put it in, is so weird to us. Like
it the idea crops up in fiction all the time, but I don't ever see it explored in this way because because they're treated like clone stories a lot of the time, where it's like there's a lot of angst over who the original is.
Yeah, I think you're the fake hedgehog around here.
I'll make you eat those words.
I'll make you eat those words.
What?
But,
oh my god! He's faster than Sonic!
He's faster than Sonic! What? Anyway, but yeah, but like that idea is so weird to us that like a lot of times as you just said in a lot of fiction where this happens, you just don't question it. Yeah, it's just what? There's a clone of you. What? Whatever. You know?
Clone of you have like an angst arc over who's the original, and inevitably, who's the original is found out, and that clone is either killed because it goes evil about like, oh, what do you mean I'm totally the real one? And to prove it, I'm gonna go ballistic and kill everybody. That if I can't be the original, then I'm gonna kill everyone the original loves, who I know in intimate detail.
If I can't be the original, no one can. What does that even mean? Gun!
What do you mean? Gun in your face. Or it's usually, most of the time, it is either that thing of like, okay, if I'm not the original, if I'm not going to be treated like the original, then I am just gonna go on like a whole murder rampage, and like target all these aspects of the quote of the original person's life because I know them because I'm an exact clone of that person.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, well, we can't both be the same person, so since I'm not the original, I am the clone, I am gonna go live my own separate, unique life.
I'll get a haircut.
I'll get a haircut and dye my hair blonde and go take on a different alias and fight crime, but I'll still be like spider theme. I'm talking about the Spider-Man clone saga right now.
Oh my god. Look, okay.
That's usually how these kinds of stories are treated, and it's almost always clones instead of like brain duplicates, right?
Yeah. Well, like this is gonna be a somewhat weird one, but like clone troopers
from Star Wars.
Yeah, because it's like they're all the same guy.
I guess
just cloned over and over again.
But they all like Genghis Fett, yeah.
Yes.
But they all behave so differently from each other.
Well, that's what I mean. Because like in Soma, like, right? Like, okay, at some point the copy has had so many different experiences from you that they're going to act like a different person.
That's true. I can't imagine bookshop sorry.
I can't imagine a bookshop. I can't perceive it.
I said the word bookshop. My brain got really.
I don't believe in bookshops.
They don't exist.
I said the word bookshop and my brain got really into thinking about like the perfect bookshop, and I got real cozy in my imagined spot for a second.
The bookshop is your arc.
It's a fireplace and like 4 cats.
4 cats specifically.
Well, it's a bookshop. It's like
It's the correct amount of cat.
yeah.
But okay, but bookshop Simon with brain damage.
Probably wouldn't be doing the things fucking Electrohead Simon is doing.
Electrohead Simon.
They want me to call him brain undamaged because there is no longer brain to be damaged.
We'll call him Lobotomy Simon.
Lobotomy Simon.
Where he has no brain left to damage.
Oh my god.
Any and all further clones of this Simon are Lobotomy Simon 2, etc.
Okay. Wait. So we start the game playing as Bookshop Simon, and then immediately after Brain Scan, we become Lobotomy Simon. And then we switch to the deep sea diving suit, we become Lobotomy 2 Simon?
Lobotomy Simon 2, but yeah.
Lobotomy Simon 2,
Mm-hmm.
but then the Simon that is copied from that Simon and put into the Ark, what is that Simon?
Lobotomy Simon 3.
Not Ark Simon?
We can call Ark Simon, I guess.
Yeah.
We gotta come up with a whole bunch of different prefixes, and I feel like it's just easier to have 2 prefixes and a bunch of numbers.
I feel like it's easier to just numbers.
Shit that my spreadsheet teacher said to me when I was learning Excel.
Look, when you put this into an Excel spreadsheet, it's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Guys, we should change our idea document into an idea Excel spreadsheet.
Honestly, I'm down. I will handle it.
You'll handle it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm fine. I'm fine with that. You go.
Yippee.
Yippee.
For the audience, Peter is chronically spreadsheet brained.
Like,
yeah,
like I can make a spreadsheet, but like I only do it if I feel it is absolutely necessary.
This is an excuse for me to make a spreadsheet.
You go. You do. I like
the two perspectives. Yeah, I can make a spreadsheet if I have to. This is just an excuse for me to make a spreadsheet. Peter, I hope you don't need an excuse to make a spreadsheet. You could just think of something that fits in a spreadsheet and make a spreadsheet.
True as that may be, I want to make a spreadsheet.
Go for it, man.
You do it. You do it, man. You got it.
I prefer to play video games than make spreadsheets.
It's true. Most of the time, the spreadsheet exists in your brain.
Make a spreadsheet about video game. Easy.
That's what I usually make spreadsheets about.
Fair enough.
I prefer to play the video game instead of make a spreadsheet about it, unless I absolutely need a spreadsheet to look at, visualize the path forward in said game.
Yeah, like when you're trying to figure out what options you haven't done in Undertale yet.
Pretty much.
You need a flowchart.
Yeah, the flowchart is part of that.
So like, are we good?
I mean, is there moral philosophy you want to discuss?
This video is 2 hours and 37 minutes long, Cole.
Alright, never mind.
Real quick, I do actually have tangentially related to Soma. It's just I did not pay attention to the middle third of the plot, and so when I tabbed back in, it reminded me very, very much of a book that I actually have in my room right now, called Voice of the Whirlwind by Walter John Williams.
Who's Walter John Williams? And what's Voice
he's a sci-fi author. I would not expect you to have heard of him, but he's made a lot of books. In fact, one of his books got made into a TTRPG by Telsorian Games.
Ah, awesome. What's that book about? Not the Artorian game.
Oh,
not the TTRPG one, the other one, the world.
The one relevant to the topic.
It's you play or not. I haven't read it so long. It's about it's about the clone of a famous war hero who wakes up with 15 years of his memories missing because his original body did not update his memories since making the clone. And the world has changed in those 15 years, obviously. The original body is dead now. And there are aliens encroaching on human society and changing it substantially. So the whole thing is very much about it's very similar theming wise. Is like, you know, am I my own person because I am a clone, or because I am so different from my original body, or weird shit, stuff like that. And yeah, the only reason I bring that up is because Walter John Williams writes a lot of books with a similar theming.
Cool.
So, you know, in case you want something that I think is personally easier to follow than Soma, that is the same themes, check out his. They are a bit old. I mean, with the Whirlwind in 1987. But he's got a lot of books.
Very nice.
As this episode ends with an endorsement to read books.
Read more. Read books. They don't get read enough.
Read books, adults, because there's no kids here, because you're not allowed.
Yeah, kids shouldn't read books until they're adults.
Shouldn't read books.
Anyway, this is my cue to end the episode, so...
Very nice.